In a world obsessed with speed, noise, and endless chasing, Warren Buffett stands as a voice of calm wisdom, a reminder that wealth is not built in chaos, but in clarity. Today we explore some of his timeless quotes, each one a window into the mind of one of the greatest investors, and a lesson for anyone seeking not just money but meaning. The best investment you can make is in yourself. When Buffett says, "The best investment you can make is in yourself," he's not talking about buying stocks or crypto. He's reminding us that the foundation of all wealth begins inside you. Your knowledge, your habits, your discipline. Think about it. Markets rise and fall, but your skills, your mindset, your ability to adapt, those never lose value. If you learn how to communicate better, how to think critically, how to manage emotions under pressure, that's compound interest of the mind. It grows quietly, but powerfully, year after year. Buffett himself spends about 80% of his day reading and thinking, not chasing trends, not reacting to noise, just learning. That's how he turned a small Nebraska partnership into one of the greatest investment stories in history. For me, this quote reminds me that every hour I spend improving, whether I'm reading, writing, or simply reflecting, isn't wasted time. It's capital reinvested into a better version of myself. You don't need a bull market to grow. You just need consistency, humility, and patience. Because the moment you stop learning, that's when your value starts to fall. Price is what you pay. Value is what you get. This quote is short, but it's one of the most misunderstood ideas in investing and in life. When Buffett says, "Price is what you pay, value is what you get," he's warning us not to confuse cost with worth. Many people chase the cheapest options, cheap stocks, cheap clothes, cheap opportunities. But cheap doesn't always mean good, and expensive doesn't always mean bad. The key is to see beyond the price tag and understand what something truly gives you in return. In the stock market, a company might look expensive on paper, but if it continues to grow, create cash, and dominate its industry, then the real value might be far greater than the price. That's how Buffett built his empire, by buying quality when others only saw numbers. But this idea also applies outside of money. The price of waking up early to learn, the price of saying no to distractions, the price of patience. They all seem high in the moment, but the value they bring to your future is priceless. For me, this quote is like a compass. It reminds me to stop asking, "How much does it cost?" and start asking, "What do I truly get in return?" Because in the long run, value always outlives price. Be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful. This is probably Buffett's most famous quote, and also the hardest to practice, because it goes directly against human nature. When everyone around you is excited, when the news headlines scream record highs, your instincts tell you to join the crowd. And when the market crashes, when fear takes over, every part of you wants to run. But Buffett teaches the opposite. He reminds us that real investors and real thinkers must learn to stand apart. When others are losing their heads, you must keep yours steady. When others are greedy, prices rise far above real value. That's when caution protects you. When others are terrified and selling everything, that's when opportunities quietly appear. This quote isn't only about investing, it's about emotional intelligence. Life is full of moments when crowds rush one way. The brave, the calm, the thoughtful, they step back, observe, and move wisely. For me, this quote is a reminder to breathe before reacting, to see through the noise. Because in both markets and life, wealth doesn't belong to the loudest. It belongs to the most patient. It's far better to buy a wonderful company at a fair price than a fair company at a wonderful price. This quote shows how Buffett's wisdom goes far beyond numbers. It's about quality over quantity and patience over temptation. He's saying that it's better to own a great business, one that keeps growing, keeps innovating, and treats customers well, even if the price looks a bit high today. Because over time, quality compounds. A strong company keeps earning, keeps expanding, and eventually makes the fair price look cheap in hindsight. But if you buy a mediocre company just because it's cheap, you'll end up paying for disappointment later. Low price doesn't protect you from bad management, declining products, or fading demand. As Buffett often says, time is the friend of the wonderful company, the enemy of the mediocre one. This idea isn't just about stocks. It's about life. Choose quality relationships, not convenient ones. Choose meaningful goals, not easy wins. Because the price of patience might feel heavy now, but the value of quality endures. For me, this quote reminds me to build with long vision. Don't rush into what's cheap. Invest in business, in people, in dreams, where value grows quietly with time. Because the real return comes not from speed, but from substance. Someone is sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. This quote captures one of Buffett's most beautiful ideas, the power of long-term thinking. He reminds us that everything comfortable, stable, and successful today exists because someone, somewhere, had the patience to plant a seed long before it was needed. In investing, that tree might be a stock purchased decades ago. In life, it might be an act of kindness, a habit, or a lesson you pass to someone younger. You may not see the result immediately, but time is the quiet gardener that rewards consistency. Think about it. Every book you read, every dollar you save, every good decision you repeat, they're all seeds. At first, they seem small and invisible. But one day you wake up and realize they've grown into shade, comfort, freedom, security. For me, this quote is a gentle reminder to build for tomorrow, not just today. Even small daily efforts, saving, learning, creating, are trees in progress. The future is not built by miracles. It's built by people who plant, water, and wait. So keep planting. You may not sit under every tree you grow, but someone, maybe your future self, surely will. Risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. This quote reveals the heart of Buffett's philosophy. Risk isn't about danger, it's about ignorance. Most people think risk is something external, like a volatile market, a bad economy, or bad luck. But Buffett reminds us, real risk begins inside the mind, when you make decisions without understanding them. If you don't know how a business makes money, it's risky to buy its stock. If you don't understand your own emotions, it's risky to make choices under stress. Knowledge turns uncertainty into confidence. Ignorance turns confidence into disaster. In life, it's the same. We take risks every day. Relationships, careers, new ideas. But the more we learn, the more we prepare, the less those risks actually are. Because clarity reduces fear. For me, this quote is empowering. It says, you don't have to avoid risk. You just have to understand it. The more you know, the smaller the monsters in your mind become. Every book you read, every mistake you study, every lesson you learn, they all build a shield called wisdom. So don't fear risk. Fear not knowing. Because once you truly understand what you're doing, what once looked dangerous becomes an opportunity. The most important quality for an investor is temperament, not intellect. This is one of Buffett's most counterintuitive truths, that success in investing isn't about IQ, it's about EQ. He's telling us that numbers and analysis matter, but what truly decides your destiny is your temperament, your ability to stay calm when others panic, to wait when others rush, to think long-term when the crowd demands quick wins. In markets and in life, intelligence can open doors, but only emotional discipline keeps you from slamming them shut. You can be brilliant and still lose everything if you can't control fear or greed. But even an average person with patience, consistency, and balance can quietly win over time. Buffett once said, "You don't need to be a genius to do well in investing. You just need to avoid being dumb." That's the heart of temperament, knowing when not to act, when to wait, when to simply do nothing. For me, this quote is a mirror. It reminds me that wisdom isn't proven by what I know, but by how I behave when things don't go my way. Because the real battle is never in the market, it's inside your own mind. Our favorite holding period is forever. This quote sounds simple, but it's a quiet revolution against the modern world's obsession with speed. Everyone wants quick returns, instant results, overnight success. But Buffett reminds us that the greatest rewards belong to those who can hold, not those who can rush. When he says forever, he doesn't mean literally never selling. He means believing deeply in what you own, whether it's a business, a relationship, or a dream, and giving it enough time to grow. A great company, like a great idea, needs seasons. It will have winters and storms, but if the foundation is strong, it will bloom again. The same is true for self-growth. You can't expect to master a skill, build wealth, or change your mindset in a week. Real progress is quiet, steady, and slow, just like compound interest. For me, this quote is about faith and patience. It's about not abandoning your path just because it's not moving fast enough. Because if you've chosen something truly worthwhile, time is not your enemy, it's your greatest ally. So instead of asking, "How long will it take?" ask, is this worth holding on to forever? That's the Buffett mindset. Long-term faith in both investments and in life itself. If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. This quote hits hard because it's brutally honest. Buffett is reminding us that time is the most limited resource we have. And if your income depends only on your time, you'll never be truly free. We grow up believing that hard work is the only way to success. But Buffett challenges that idea. He's not saying don't work hard. He's saying work smart. Use your energy to build systems, investments, and skills that continue to earn for you, even when you're not actively working. That could mean owning a business, buying dividend stocks, creating content, writing a book, anything that turns effort today into income tomorrow. Because while you rest, your money, your ideas, and your creations can keep working for you. For me, this quote isn't just financial, it's spiritual. It's about building a life that isn't trapped by endless labor. A life where time serves you, not the other way around. So every time I spend a day learning, creating, or building something lasting, I remind myself, this is how I plant the seeds of freedom. Because true wealth isn't about luxury, it's about choice. The freedom to sleep peacefully, knowing your work still lives on. The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. This final quote is quiet but powerful. It's not about ambition, it's about focus. Buffett reminds us that success isn't built by saying yes to more things. It's built by having the clarity and courage to say no. Most people think success means doing everything. More meetings, more projects, more opportunities. But the truth is, every yes is also a no to something else. Your time, your rest, your creativity, your peace. Really successful people understand this trade-off. They guard their attention like treasure because they know the human mind has limits. And spreading yourself too thin guarantees mediocrity. Buffett once said he could fill a small notebook with all his good ideas. Because the secret isn't having thousands of them. It's choosing the few that truly matter and going all in. For me, this quote is the perfect reminder at the end of a busy day. You don't have to do everything. You just have to do the right things, deeply, patiently, and with purpose. In the end, greatness is not built by how much we add, but by how much we refuse to dilute what truly matters. Sometimes the most powerful word in success is no. Warren Buffett's words are not about money. They're about mindset. Patience over panic. Clarity over noise. Value over vanity. The richest life isn't the one with the most possessions. It's the one with the deepest purpose. So slow down. Plant your trees. Invest in yourself. And let time do the rest. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment below. I'll be sharing more content to help you grow your knowledge, expand your mindset, and learn about investing and personal growth. Insights that make you a little wiser, a little stronger, every day. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.